In this lesson, you're going to be able to name and plot ordered pairs in the coordinate plane. So a coordinate plane, you've probably seen it before, looks something like this. So the way that you'll want to sketch this is a horizontal line on your paper with end arrows, and then a vertical line on your paper with end arrows, and those intersect like this. So look like they form a right angle. This is what the coordinate plane looks like. And if you had grid paper, you would see the grid lines, but this for sketching it, this is fine. You have your two lines that intersect. This blue line, we give it a special name. We call it the x-axis. And you can just think of the x-axis as being a number line. So the starting point of your number line, let's maybe say we start here at this point, is 0. So the starting point here is 0. This is what we call the origin. Is sort of the starting point of our graph, is the origin. And this has this is the ordered pair 0, 0. And I'll explain what an ordered pair is in a moment. But for now, the origin is the starting point of your graph. The first number is 0 on your x-axis. So if we go to the right of 0 on the x-axis, here would be at 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this would just continue on forever, all the positive numbers forever. Those are all positive. If we went to the left, remember if you're thinking of a number line, to the left would be negative. So -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on. So all those to the left would be negative. So that's the x-axis. The y-axis is that red line that you drew, or that vertical line that you drew. And the y-axis, again, we're going to start on the y-axis here at the origin. So we're going to start here. That starting point of your y-axis is 0 there. From 0 on the y-axis, we could go up. And if we go up, that would be +1, +2, +3, and +4. And we could continue that on forever and ever. If we went below 0, so if we started here on the y-axis and went below 0, we would have -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on forever and ever. So this is what your coordinate plane looks like. Your x and y axis, so this blue and red line that intersect, they divide your coordinate plane into 4 quadrants. So make sure you copy that. It divides it into 4 quadrants. And I'll label them for you. So in this diagram, quadrant 1 is right here. So it's you can think of it as like the upper right. There's the quadrant 1. Then right to the left, so to the left of quadrant 1 is quadrant 2. So we label it kind of counterclockwise. So quadrant 1 is here, quadrant 2 is here. And if you want, those are Roman numerals that they use, but you could now just use numbers like 1, 2. Quadrant 3 is here, just continuing counterclockwise. And then the last one is here, quadrant 4. So in Roman numerals, it's IV. As a number, you could just write 4. So this is basically what your coordinate plane looks like. So when I talked about the origin, I said it was the ordered pair 0, 0. And I want to explain what an ordered pair is. So in a coordinate plane, if we want to locate any point, we can use what we call an ordered pair. So this is a word that you're going to want to write down, an ordered pair. And it's called an ordered pair because the order in which the pair of numbers is written is important. So an ordered pair is written like this. It's written with your x coordinate first, comma, the y coordinate second. So the order matters. Your x has to come first, and then your y has to come second. So in my example, I have the ordered pair, +3, comma, +1. And you might see this written as 3, comma 1, like this. These mean the same thing. So the way that we would plot this in the coordinate plane is if you create your x and y axis. So here's my x, and here's my y. So the first coordinate is the x coordinate. This means that the point 3 is 3 units to the right of the origin. So you start at the origin. So here's the origin. And I'm going to go to the right 3 units. So I'm going to go right 1, 2, 3. So I go right 3. The second coordinate is the y coordinate. It is, in this case, +1. So I'm going to go, on my y, I'm going to go up 1. So I'm going to go up 1. So this is +1. So my point is going to be right here. This is the ordered pair, 3, comma 1, or if you like, +3, comma +1. Means the same thing. So this is where this point would be on the coordinate plane. You start at the origin, and then you start with your x-axis, your x value first. I started with the +3 because that was the first number in my ordered pair, and then I went up to my y value, which was 1. When we think of our ordered pair x comma y, if you have an x coordinate that is positive, so if your x is positive, so if this here is positive, then it's going to move your graph right of the origin. So you would move right. If it's negative, then your graph would move left from the origin. For the y coordinate, if the y is positive, then you move up from the origin. If the y is negative, then you move down from the origin. So let's look at practicing plotting some points. So here's example 1. And really, we're going to use this for examples 1, 2, and 3. So you only have to sketch this one time. So plot each of the following ordered pairs. So we'll plot the ordered pair 5, comma 1. So remember, ordered pairs are x, comma y. So you're going to start with the x, and then you'll do the y. The first point is +5, comma +1. This means my x is +5, and my y is +1. So here is +5 on my x, and we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or you could just look and say there's +5. And then I'm going to go up 1. So where's +1? I could either just go up 1, or I could just look and see here's +1, so it's here. So this is point A. It's the point 5, comma 1. Point B, -3, -5. Again, start at the origin. So here's the origin, 0, 0. I have an x value of -3, so start with the negative. So -3 in the x means go left 3. So -1, -2, -3. Or you could have just looked and saw this was -3. Then I want to go -5 on the y. Remember, y moves your graph up or down. So I want to go down because it's negative. Negative means go down on the y. So I'm going to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right down here. So this is point B. And then I'm going to just erase these guidelines here. So those guidelines will help you get to your destination. Let's go ahead and do C. So starting at the origin again. So we have +3. So I'm going to go to +3 on the x. So start at the origin. Here's +3 on the x. So I went right 3. Now I'm going to go, my y is down 2. So I'm going to go down 2. So from here, I'm going to go down 2. 1, 2. So this is point C. Then I'm just going to erase these points that I used as a guide. And then lastly, we'll plot point D. So -4, -2. So my x is -4. So I'm going to go left 4 because that x coordinate is negative. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm at -4. So these numbers match. And then I'm going to go, my y value is 2. So I'm going to go up 2. It's +2. So I'm going to go up 2. So 1, 2. So this is point D. And again, you can erase those lines to help you get there. So we're going to use this same grid that you have sketched on your paper right now. We're going to use this to answer questions 2 and 3. Let's just actually say question number 2. In which quadrant is each point located? So I have identified the quadrants on here for you. So point A is at 5, 1. So we'll just look, what quadrant is that in? That's in, here's point A, that's in quadrant number 1. So you could just write a number 1 there. Point B, -3, -5. So point B is here. This is quadrant 3. So we'll say it's quadrant 3. Point C, we'll locate that on the grid. So here's point C. What quadrant is that in? That's in quadrant 4. And point D, what quadrant is that in? So we'll find this on our grid. It's right here. That's in quadrant number 2. And if you'd like to see this as Roman numerals, this would be I for 3. For 4, it would be IV. And for 2, it would be the 2 I's like that. So that is the Roman numerals. Question number 3, not 4. In which quadrants do the coordinates of a point have the same sign? So if we look at what we did, so we want to see when are our x coordinate and y coordinate the same sign. So when do they have the same sign? So when are they both positive or both negative? Not one of each. So if we look at our ordered pairs that we had in number 2, we had +5 and +1. So those had the same sign. Those were both positive. So that would be one answer. So let's go and say in quadrants. So in quadrant 1, we have the same sign. Let's see, is there another one? So here we have -3 and -5. Those are both negative. That happened in quadrant 3. So let's say in quadrant 1 and quadrant 3. So that's when we had the same signs. Notice in quadrant 4, so for C and for D, quadrant 2, the signs were different. We had one positive and one negative. In this example, name the coordinates of each of the points. So here we'll start with the origin. So this is the point 0, 0. So you didn't move anywhere, you stayed right at the origin. And let's from here go in alphabetical order. So I'm going to go start with H. So how do I get to H? So I'm going to start with my X. Remember, it's X, Y. So if I start out with my X, I'm going to go right 2, so +2. And then how far up do I go to get to H? I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so +5. And if you want, you can just write that as 2, 5. To get to L, I'm going to go, same idea here. I'm going to start at the origin. Here's L, it's to the right of the origin. So I'm going to go right 2. So my X is 2. Then I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3. So since I went down 3, my Y coordinate is going to be -3. So I would like you to try M and P. So pause the video, give those a try. So if you tried M, you should have got -6, 1, or if you'd like, you would have -6, +1. And for point P, it's -6, -4. And the last example, plot each set of points and then join them in order to form a quadrilateral. So I want you to go ahead and plot point A, point B, point C, and point D. So I want you to plot each of these points. So A is 1, 1, B is 1, 5, C is negative 3, 5, and D is negative 3, 1. So I want you to plot them, and then after you plot them, I'll help you create your quadrilateral. So plot them, and then come back and I'll show you what the quadrilateral looks like. So hopefully you plotted them, and this is what you got. So that was the first part. Now they want you to connect these to make a quadrilateral. So you connect C and D together, D and A and B, and B and C. And there's your quadrilateral, it's a square. So there is an assignment in MathXL. It's called the coordinate plane and graphing points. So you should be able to do that assignment now.